here's the situation. It's that time again. We've got to use the vinegar here to put some in the water tank and descale the water tank. And also, according to experts in the area, it's starting to get that slight smell that it'll get sometimes when the water just kind of, I don't want to say has been contaminated because that sounds dramatic, but occasionally these water heaters, after a while, the water will start to have a little bit of a funk. It just means there may be something in there contaminating. So, I borrowed the little water bottle from my neighbor. Asked him if he had an empty water bottle. He said, no, but here's a water. So, nice guy across the street. Solves my problem. I need to make a little funnel out of this so I can get vinegar poured up in here. We're gonna do that now. And take you guys along in case it's a project you need to do to defunk your own water heater. So I've depressurized the trailer. There's now no water pressure. I'm gonna take this valve off. So I've got an open hole into the water heater. I expect to lose a little bit of water here, but there's no pressure. So it's really just what's at the top of the water heater just running out. There's that. Something about our Safari that I really liked, our water heater was right next to a cabinet, and in that cabinet you had access to the low point drain, so you could take the water heater level down pretty quick and easy. Now we don't have that here. I got to go back inside, and next to the water heater on the floor I'll find that low point drain. I'm going to use that to lower a solid gallon plus out of the water heater to be able to put the vinegar back into it. I've had the vinegar soaking in the water heater for several hours now. I've pulled it through by running the warm water up into the sink and the shower to maybe descale valve and shower head, such like that. I'm now going to open the low point drain to drain most of it out the bottom, although I will run some of it out through the sinks.
Kind of having a weird day. I broke this in the bathroom, the towel rack. I just bumped my elbow against it, and the die cast, can you guys see that? The die cast just snapped right off. It's supposed to go like this. I'm gonna have to replace it. The other thing that happened is I crashed out on my board. I went for a little jaunt on the Onewheel and I was cruising. It was beautiful. I had a nice, really nice ride. I get all the way done with my ride, and the speed hump down at the end of the campground has like a dip between the two sides, and I misjudged. I pivoted my hips a little bit to look behind me, and when you're one-wheeling, whatever direction your hips are going is the direction the board is basically going, because it's how you shift your weight. Anyway, I biffed it. Was I wearing pads? No, I was not, but I was definitely wearing my helmet. I'm lucky I didn't break my wrist. Can you see the bruising? And my knee is definitely bruised, but if you're going to do board sports, you're going to fall, and that's just the way that is. Super sore this morning. Everything hurts from the crash landing, and my mobility is limited now. If you're familiar with our channel, you know that I work and I have a standing desk, and I don't have a sitting option. And because we just did the floor, we haven't put the Dinette back into service yet, and my screens and stuff are all permanently mounted. So I'm gonna have to figure that situation out. The swelling isn't too bad. It's really just a bruise, and I think a sprain or a twist. And I think I'm pretty lucky that I didn't get hurt worse, because board sports, one-wheeling, skateboarding and stuff, your clavicles, so your collarbones are at a definite risk, no matter what pad you're wearing.
I've done this before, and a plastic water bottle will kind of jam in the hose thread, just basically just good enough to be able to use as a funnel. It leaks a little, but part of the reason we're doing this with some cheap vinegar is it's a cheap solution. So the vinegar is displacing water, probably losing a percentage of the vinegar a little bit, but less worried about that. What I'm going to do right now is pour in about half the jug, come back, put the valve on it, and let it marinate a few hours.
great thing about living in an Airstream is I can like have handholds on both sides as I wobble myself back to the seating, and my cup of coffee, which is the most important thing. I think we all can agree.
Thanks very much to Swim Bike Run PDX for using that Buy Me a Coffee link and keeping us supplied. Very much appreciated.
I'm no speed demon though. I have my rig throttled so that I can't go tearing. Specifically so Andrew can't go tearing, because he has, his wrist has been shattered before. He came off a ladder on the barn roof and in a push-up position when we were much younger and just pulverized it, turned his hand into a flipper. It was really gross, but he has all kinds of like pins and stuff in there, and I really don't think that we need to be careening around at 20 miles an hour, so my board is throttled. So I was just like floating along, misjudged it, and boom, in a second. And I had to call Andrew and be like, I need you to get the truck and go and come back and get me.
We've got some errands to do, so I'm just gonna let this marinate for a few hours with all the vinegar in there. Put in around half a gallon, so I think we're at 8 parts water, 1 part vinegar, more or less.
Just got a box, pretty excited about it. Rolling home to open it up.
What do you have?
I've got a present. Thanks very much to Brent and Betsy Dane, frequent supporters of the channel. They sent these collars that Brent designed to release the table mount. So they go on the table legs and they help release the buttons to make that way less awkward. So I'm looking forward to trying them. I don't think I'm gonna be able to install these today with your knee out of commission because I'll need your help.
Okay.
But we're gonna re-put those table legs down, and I wanna replace the screws because those screws are a little rusty. And let's put it back with fresh screws. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few days from now, we'll do this.
Yeah, the knee is, I don't think catastrophically injured, like I said earlier, but it...
Better to take your time.
Yeah, and it's looking a little purple. It's blooming.
Yeah, let's take your time with that. Don't rush it.
All right.
This week's Buy Me a Coffee shout out to I'm Anagram. Thank you very much. Almost to the day that this happened last year. That right there is the top 6 inches of the pedestrian gate to walk out onto the bike path. So I would say the bike path is about 4 feet deep right now. And this is rolling in along the edge of the campground. Wow. Once again. Another angle here. Those are the top 3 inches of the posts along the bike path. Those are the clean tank guys there. Talked to them before. I think they gave us a flamingo last year. Got a lot of Airstreams in here right now. It looks like the water level's already been higher and is now coming down because it's taken this fence out at the upper end of the campground. It was a little darker when I got down to the campground at the far end. I hadn't realized the water had already receded. This whole row has leaves stuck to it. And just like that, here we are 2 days later. The bike path is clean and dry, and there's just a little bit of residual flooding visible in the woods.
Hello.
Hello.
It is a beautiful, breezy 65, supposed to be 70. I say we eat some breakfast and then we get started with our day.
Okay, what's on the agenda?
What I think we should do today is attach furniture to the trailer.
Yeah, there are a few things we hadn't got to yet.
Andrew had a really rough week at work. Corporate was here, sort of being corporate. And so he had a very hard week. We didn't squeeze anything in, and I was with the bum knee and the standing desk, which I executed all week. I didn't find myself with a lot of extra. What we're going to do today, I think, is install the table legs to start.
I'm particularly excited about that now.
Right, because Brent and Betsy Dane, who are longtime channel supporters of ours, have given us a gift, which we've already shown you, but now today's the day we're going to install it. Now, Andrew wanted to wait until he had non-rusty hardware before installing. That's just not going to be an option because we can't seem to get out of our own way to get what we need ordered and here in time for us to do it. So we're just going to reinstall the rusty bolts, screws, whatever they are, and the plates. And I'm really excited because I really want to have a surface to eat on. So let's get started. I'll be so glad to not have to eat on the cushions.
All right, get this out of the way for a minute. Try not to laugh here. Shauna is on a couple medications because she's got bad allergies. One of them is an inhaler.
I think it's safe to say I'm never using this one again, and I need to go pick up a new inhaler.
And so her medication alarm just went off. She grabbed the inhaler, popped the cap off, puffed on the inhaler, and somehow managed to shoot a spider against the back of her throat. No idea.
I hate you so much right now.
Yeah.
I'm like mentally like feel like the spider legs in the back of my throat.
No idea how a spider. I mean, she religious about put the cap on because, you know.
And no one would believe me. Everyone would think I'm paranoid, but I'm not. It happens. It happens. The day and the comedy that ensued with the screaming and the hacking.
Yeah, there was some drama.
And
we live semi in nature, not really, but kind of, and it's just one of those things. It was very small. It was very small.
Stop laughing.
I'm laughing with you.
I don't feel like that's true.
There's a thin screen.
Stop laughing, Andrew.
Sometimes there's a thin screen between us and the outside.
It has been weeks. Do you remember where the table bases are?
Yes. Sorry, you had me going for a second, but yes. Carefully took pictures of this, but actually I'm missing a little bit of information from them to get these centered more or less where they were before. So I'm going to have to take this a little bit of a different approach. What I thought I was going to do is take measurements, put the bases in place, then put the legs on, put the table on. But I think I need to change the order. I need to assemble the table and set it, because what I don't want is the legs slightly out of parallel, because that will side load the releases and make them harder to release.
Or unreleasable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's not do that. All right, why don't you go to the closet and get the parts?
Yes. Screws I wanted to replace, and 2 bases.
Andrew is going to screw those into the bases, and then we're going to mount the table on top so it's more stable and in alignment.
Click. Almost. This is awkward in a small space. I'm gonna look at my pictures to see if I can figure out where it's supposed to be. Let's measure. All right. Good guess. The center should be 10 inches from the back, and this is 1.5 inches thick from where I measured. That's one of my issues. So I want to go to 8.5 on center, which is about right there. Okay. Which means this one's about 29. That's helping a lot. That's exactly the team contribution I need. So make me feel like I'm on a boat. We've used our measurements to get it as close to where we think it was as before.
We don't have to use the same holes, but ultimately we want it to look in line with the window.
And sort of where it's supposed to be. So what we're doing now is just sort of measuring to see that it's straight and square with the back wall. And now I've walked down towards the bed to see if it looks right, just to see if anything is weird about the way it looks.
So what do you think?
I think it's good.
All right. Andrew's trying to estimate.
Just using this as a plumb bob to show me the center line of the cabinet seam down to the center line on the table.
The blue, he's talking about the blue line.
Blue line, yeah. All right, let me check the other way.
It's not going to be exact. It's just we have to do the best we can and move on.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna check it from back there for visual.
Okay.
I think I like the looks of that. Now you've messed around with this for long enough. My plan now, and I'm just gonna launch into it, is to drill a small pilot hole, put 2 screws in each plate, and see if I like how it is. And if I have to adjust, I will. Hoping I don't have to adjust. It offends me that I'm putting these rusty screws back in, but I just haven't had time to get to where I can get some better ones. Special thanks to Rodney, who, in the absence of a fresh video to watch this past week, reached back into our catalog and watched something a little bit older, but also very generously sent us a YouTube super thanks. And that's awesome. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you to the members of our community that have reached out with messages of support to wish us well, even as we step back a little bit from YouTube to focus on my student loan debt payout. It's been really something that has really, I think, helped us, encourage us, and not feel so bad about posting less. But no, sincere thank you to the people that have reached out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, the timing of those messages couldn't have been better because, Andrew, what happened today?
Well, I guess I can say it because it's public record, but my company is being bought, and I have no idea what that means. And that's really all I can say about that. I guess what I mean to say by that is it's very hard to know what's coming, and it could be fairly financially destabilizing. So we've just got to see how it works out.
Well, and I think we just need to double down and be ready for anything, really.
Yeah, it makes sense to focus on my work right now, to get this debt paid down as much as I can.
I'm so worried that battery is going to blast through the screen.
Oh, like spin the drill?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to lean into it here, but yeah. No, you can see the battery kick sometimes if you're not careful. All right. I think we're stable. I think. Well, stable as we were. The luxury woven vinyl, when you try to drill a pilot hole, essentially spinning the drill bit burns the plastic more or less, and it kind of fills up the drill bit. So just, I guess, know that if you plan on kind of remounting things, it can be a little bit difficult to get some pilot holes in it because this drill bit is covered with fibers I can't easily get off. I'm really excited for this next part. Can't wait to install these. So in order to install my new gifts, we need to take this apart the hard way one last time, because those should make it much easier to pop the tabletop off.
Oh yeah, buddy.
I'm excited. Almost excited. Here we go. I need you to lift. Yeah, this is the problem. Okay, this one's released. This one's released. Okay, table's up. So here's what the table base looks like without the table on it. And I've got one collar for each table leg. And let me show you how this installs. Brent designed this with a ramp inside to press the button when turned, and frankly, it's brilliant. Just gotta find the spot. And there it is. And when I turn it, it presses the button.
And it looks good.
Yep. Yeah. If you can hear the screams of joy, that's the kid train going around the campground. Seems like they're having fun.
You're just jealous that you're not on the train.
I'm not on the train right now.
Although this is a pretty exciting project. We're so excited. And we're so grateful. This is fantastic.
There we go.
And it looks good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks like they're supposed to be there. Nice. I realized that this one was actually a little bit fitting tight, and the issue is there's an instruction sticker, which in principle I've never read and didn't even notice. Here on the back side, but it was fitting tight. Once I removed that sticker, it actually spins nicely.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. Let's get the tabletop on it.
Perfect. I can do it myself now. Down and on. That's locked in place. And unlock. Unlock. And lift. Yep. No longer a two-person job.
All by yourself.
I'm so excited. You guys want to see this again? All right, unlock. Unlock. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. There it is, right there. Just takes a little wiggle and it's up. As opposed to the fighting and almost losing your teeth. Previously on Airstream Wheeler. If I put this table on backwards with the seam on the inside of the room side, I would have left it, but I'm gonna fix it now.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
There we go.
Oh yeah, buddy. So we do what we're not supposed to. We often ride with our table in place when we're towing.
Don't tell anyone.
Shh, it's our secret.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess you're supposed to take your table down according to Airstream, but
I can see where
I feel like with the amount of stuff jumbling around in here, typically, especially when we had the eBay store in here,
yeah,
the table was at higher risk of breakage and damage.
If you're one of those people that's driven your RV to Alaska, table up or table down?
Weigh in the comments, guys.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Let's tighten that back up. Yeah.
And we're locked. We really do have an incredible community. Thank you again to Brent and Betsy for sending us this very thoughtful gift that will definitely improve the quality of our lives. Yeah, this has been fun figuring this out and awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it very much.